Welcome again to AHA, A Human Among Humans. I'm Michael Koran. It's somewhat challenging to be a human among humans this last year. How are we doing? What tips can we share with each other? I might be able to help a little. I'm going to be reading and singing and discussing poems from my book that's going to be published again in a new edition, Verse to Better. And it's a poem for each day of our year. Hopefully, it will help us live poetic lives, whatever that means. I guess a poetic life would have grace, beauty, meaning. That's a lot. I hope this helps. It's helped me. It would be great if it could help you too. Hi, Val. Thank you for watching. So, this poem song is dedicated to Val. It's for January 1st. I wrote it when I had a crush on a woman in dance camp. And crushes are lovely. Someone once said a crush is something like falling in love. Might be safer, however. So we used to dance together, even at the opposite sides of a room. We could feel connected. Do I remember her last name? I'm not sure she'd want me to tell you anyway. Her first name was Sean. There's something about beauty, just beauty, that is eloquent, moving beyond words. Oh, I remember her last name now. I think out of respect for her, since when we did television shows together, she wanted them off. So this poem is really thanks to Sean. This maybe masculine feeling, you can tell me. It's called When You Need a Friend. When you need a friend. If you ever need a friend who will love you through the end, I'm your friend through the end. I'm your friend. If you ever need love that fits you like a glove, I'm your love. Like a glove, I'm your love. If you fly to the sky, I will fly nearby. If you fall from the sky, I will glide by your side. So wherever we go, even when we're like foes, we are friends, loving friends, through the end. Well, I must confess I don't know where Sean is now. Val I talked to this morning, who might be watching. So we could ask even, what is friendship? We had a show on CCTV when we were meeting in person on friendship. How to make them, how to keep them, maybe how to leave them. Can we be a friend through the end? Sometimes it's challenging. I have a friend who had 2 operations on her legs. And she wanted me to be there for her. That scared me. Forgive me, I'm going to tell you the truth on this show as much as I can. I mean, I didn't want to be at her beck and call, but I wanted to help. And I came up with a solution which has worked wonderfully. I said I wanted to join a team that would help you. And that has worked. So how to both be ourselves, true to ourselves, and care for people we love, that is a challenge. Our friend Jesus, whose name was Jeshua, said, love your neighbor as yourself. He got that from Leviticus in the Hebrew Bible. Love your neighbor as yourself. Well, I tried to do that in my 20s. I was very miserable, actually. I don't think I was following it quite right because I wasn't loving myself. Easy to care for others, help them move. Not so easy to ask for help for me. So that didn't work very well. I went to Israel. One of the great gifts of Israel was to really begin to learn what Rabbi Hillel said. If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I for? If not now, when? If I don't listen to this right now, when will I? It's a good thing to say anytime you tell anybody something that's important. If you don't listen now, when are you? It's taken me a long time to listen, to really let things in. I had a dear friend, I haven't talked to him for a while, I will call, Joel Keenan, who used to have a television show at CCTV. He would do it alone and have on a chair next to him a sign, will you marry me? Well, Joel, when we did shows together, was very angry at me for learning something new every day, which is what my book, First to Better, is about. Something new I've learned every day. And he said, you know, Mike, I've learned only 2 things in my 35 years. To be nice and to do my homework. And around his 35th year, Joel Keenan decided to apply to med school, which is hard at that age. And he took calculus courses, which is hard to learn at that age. Really a literature man. Passed them. Applied to medical school. For 2 years, he was rejected. Applied again. The 3rd year, Joel was accepted by the University of Vermont. They like unusual doctors. So he did his homework. And as far as being nice, I think this is my understanding. he knew to get through 4 years of medical school, he needed to be with someone who was nice to him and who he was nice to. And he married a woman who was a cashier. And he did get through medical school with her help. He's now Dr. Joel Keenan. So he learned two things, but really took them in. Hopefully, I'm going to be 80 March 1st. Hopefully, maybe I'm taking all the way in things that those two things he learned, and maybe other things to really take them in. I'm not sure. I'm stubborn. And I'm a teacher of great hazard. So I can talk, even now maybe, talk about taking things in. And do I really take them in to my heart, to my marrow, the way Joel Keenan did? So we can look at this poem song. See, I invite you to join me. How much, if we want to, how deep can we take this in? If you ever need a friend who will love you through the end. Sounds nice. I am still in touch with my 7th grade friend, Richie Millman. He was in the 6th grade then. And we did one of the lovely things in my childhood, challenging childhood. Although there's a mantra that was on my boss, Jim Smith, at the Cambridge Center. It was on his bulletin board. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. And I imagine if I focus on my happy times with Richie Millman, we would go to the golf course near us, sit in the rough, the trees, look for golf balls. So that's what we told ourselves we were doing. And this was all summer. And if we found one, we'd sell it for $0.25 to one of the passing golfers. And that's how we spent the summer. I think I'm going to cry. So we needed a purposeful activity. I don't think we would have just gone and sat in the rough. Our excuse was selling golf balls we could find. Neither of us played golf. And Richie Millman and I are still distant friends. And it does warm the heart. So I was about maybe 13 then. So that's 67 years. He's living in France. So it is, I can witness, wonderful to have a friend who loves you through the end. Now, taking in the love is another story. I won't go into it now. That has not been easy. Are you able to let people love you? Really feel the love, even if you might have some questions about how lovable you are? I could tell you how I began to get through that. It's another song poem in the book. Maybe very briefly. I have a friend who's a real man. He doesn't write poetry books. he goes around and fixes your car. He'll still do it. Look up Dr. Tune-Up. And when a friend visited me at from the University of Chicago, and he was a professor emeritus and was married with children, and I only got a master's, never became a full professor, just an adjunct, I was feeling very shaky. I compared myself to my friends. I hope I do less of that now. This encounter with Dr. Tune-Up helped me. When I told him that, he said, Mikey, you do that too? Compare yourself to other people? And I said, yes. And he said, Mikey, how bad can you be if I love you? And Brucey sometimes got angry. And when I didn't want to spend a lot of time with him because I said I want to write poetry, he said, what kind of friend is that? So he could really get to me. Felt like I was kicked by the words. So when Brucey said, how bad can you be if I love you? Those words got in through my defenses. It began to be a little bit like Joel Keenan and take words in. It's been a long time to have that love fight with all that parts of me that weren't so loving. It's another challenge in this poem song. Can we be friends with ourselves? If you ever need a friend who will love you through the end, love your neighbor as you love yourself. If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? Wouldn't that, maybe we should all call Dr. Tune-Up, pretend we need help with a tire, and just have him sing to us his love. When he told me, Mikey, how bad can you be if you love me? If I love you, I said, Brucey, that just sounds like a song. He said, go and write it, Mikey. That was my first song. It's in this book. I won't sing it now because we're focusing on if you ever need a friend. But it begins, how bad can I be if you love me? And that song can still move me to tears, beginning to feel love. Really take it in. Really take it in. Well, back to the poem song we're looking at today. If you ever need a friend who will love you through the end, I'm your friend through the end. I'm your friend. I think I irritate people when they get angry at me. I had one friend call me up and say, you're a shit friend. You haven't called me during this COVID crisis. And I have learned, thanks to my beloved mother, to be criticized and maybe not take it to heart. So I just ignored that. And we're still close friends. I mean, I made sure to call him when I went shopping so I could pick up the drink he likes. So can we get through the difficult challenges of being a friend? Can we hear our friend's criticism and know as it says, nonviolent communication or compassionate communication. Focus on what they feel and what they need. And I think my friend needed to feel I loved him, and maybe shopping for a drink helped, or helping him with his book. So if you ever need a friend who will love you through the end, I'm your friend through the end. Although people die, I haven't been good at that. I seem to not want to face many friends I have not gotten in touch with when they're dying. I'm telling you the truth here. I'm not defending this. I remember one that I did. Her name was Gwen Brown, an ex-lover. She was dying at a young age, in her 50s. She had a growth on her lungs, not in it, and didn't want to get surgery. And when she started coughing up blood, it was too late. And I remember her dear friend Andy, and we were both caring for her with another friend or two, and then volunteers. And the social worker said, okay, who wants to volunteer to take care of Gwen this week? She was going to die at home. And Andy said, I'll take the weekend. And I sheepishly said, I'll take Monday afternoon from 1 to 4. And Andy told Gwen, who told me, I don't even think he can keep that. So that made me keep it. And when Gwen was dying, I was called. And I biked over, and she was still conscious. And I could say goodbye, and Andy then said, I want to be alone with her. And I walked around the block, and when I got back, she was dead. And I think I can feel Gwen. So loving people through the end, now at my age, there'll be many, and I might be able to make amends. Well, it's been wonderful to be with you, Val, and other people watching. I'll sign off by singing this poem song. If you ever need a friend who will love you through the end, I'm your friend through the end. I'm your friend. If you ever need love that fits you like a glove, I'm your love. Like a glove, I'm your love. If you fly through the sky, I will fly nearby. If you fall from the sky, I will glide by your side. So wherever we go, even when we're like foes, yeah, friend, loving friend, through the end. Thank you for joining us. much friendship near and far to you during these hopefully ending COVID times. I'll leave you with a prayer that's in my book too. Love and fun in shade and sun.